welcome to workshop number 3 for the Stellenbosch Idea Competition. Is there anybody that hasn't been to any of the previous workshops before? Okay, so there's no new faces today. Welcome, and yeah, how's it going with anybody? Have you been working hard on your viability studies yet? Good. We haven't had a day. Have you had like people asking questions or anything? Okay, but obviously nothing too. Are there any general questions at this stage at the start of the evening, administrative wise, or any other you'd like to bring up before we get going?
I'll soon after the 7th of May will be notified by the last.
I mean, how did you get your check?
Okay, so our judges will be meeting around the 11th or 14th of May, and we'll, as soon as that decision is made, then we'll make the announcement. So I think the 11th is a Friday, the 14th is a Monday, so it'll be that week of the 14th of May. We'll announce the 20. Basically the finals will go through for the pitching workshop, and then the final judging. Yeah.
So general, how many people have entered?
We've got just under 70 teams that have entered. 70 ideas, yeah. Great. Well, any other questions? Today's workshop is all about gearing for execution. So you've had a chance to decide whether your idea is viable. You've hopefully picked a strong team, and now you need to get ready to execute. So we've got two very experienced speakers to share with you tonight. First, thanks for sending me some subliminal messages there. Very important in terms of next week. We're not going to be starting hopefully more people be able to get this message again in. But next week we're going to start at 5 o'clock. And next week obviously it's not Tuesday, but Tuesday's a holiday. We're going to start at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 2nd of May. And that's because we've got a special guest appearance from Mark Shuttleworth, not in person, but via the video conferencing system. He's going to connect in, give us 5 or 10 minutes of his time just to encourage you. So make sure you get all your friends here who follow the competition to come and listen to him. And then in terms of the pitching, okay, so we've got another speaker for next week after Mark speaks. And then we've also got Adam Craig Jr., who will be the speaker for the pitching workshop, which is in July. He's just recently bought Mixit, for those of you that don't know. So that'll also be a very interesting lecture. But then just to get back to tonight, as speakers, we've got Tony Mallon from Cape Venture Partners. He's going to start off. And Tony is a CA by training, but he's been involved in all kinds of industries, including the radio industry. He is involved in venture capital and entrepreneurship on a daily basis. And he's been involved with notable deals like the sale of KFM Radio to Mail in 2000, as well as investing in the Ticketel deals. He's an experienced entrepreneur as well as investor. And he's got experience in a wide range of areas in terms of entrepreneurship and business. And he's going to be showing us specifically around the budgeting and the project planning tonight. And that's an important component of your viability study. So you can listen carefully to that. And we've also got Hanno Brosen. He's an MBA from Stellenbosch and also a qualified engineer. He was a director at Investec Property Group for a number of years before starting up Magus Group in 2000. And he within that group is Mega Specialized Investments, which I'm going to read here. Is a niche investor working in conjunction with specialized finance teams of the major merchant banks in South Africa. And it's completely owned by the Mega Group. So that's a very brief introduction to both of them. But thanks, Tony, if you can show up behind it. I'll get this up.
Cool. How's it going? Yeah, I'm gonna run through the boring stuff. As Philip said, I'm an accountant by background. It's been quite a while since I left the auditing profession. That was back in the 80s, and I've had a bit of a varied background since then. I'll talk a little bit about project planning, a little bit about budgets, a little bit about fundraising, and as I join me, so a bit about fundraising and focus on the marketing. But I think for both of us, very strong request that we make this as interactive as possible. I've tried to keep the slides to a fair minimum. I've given you some templates. You'll get this presentation afterwards. If you want some budget templates, project planning templates, that type of thing, you can click on it if you haven't got. But it's all really common sense. I think the most important thing is to, both of us have been in the game for a long time and we've got a lot of experiences, both good and bad. And one of the things I do a lot of entrepreneurial training with places like Abandon Barney, Cape Town, the TIA, Technology Innovation Agency. And one of the big things there is to try and teach people about the lessons we've learned so that they don't make the same mistakes. The only way that's going to happen is if you start, thinking about what you want to do, what you specifically worry about, and ask us about that. Maybe we've got the answer, maybe we don't, but let us at least share what we can with you and work through it. So I'm going to whip through fairly quickly this agenda. Do some brief introductions. I'm going to let Tony introduce himself, but I'll introduce me and Cape Venture Partners and what we do in the game. Talk about the project plan, talk about budgeting basics, talk about a bit of fundraising, marketing tips, market entry. Somewhere along that's a very loose agenda. We'll just work through it. Introductions first of all. Yeah, I was a CA. I say that past tense. I try and avoid the accounting side of things. I think you pay people to do that. You're entrepreneurs, you're engineers, you're specialists, you've got great ideas, you do whatever you do. Don't try and teach yourself to be accountants if you're not. That's what accountants are for. Go and pay somebody to do the work. What you've got is the bigger picture, the better idea. Go out there and execute it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't understand what these people are doing. So one of the things that I often teach is finance for non-financial people is just understanding the type of reports that you're going to get from them, understanding the information because it's your business. Even if you're paying somebody to keep track of the finances, you need to understand what's going on. So I left that behind me to do the actual number crunching, and I got involved by accident with the SABC. Ended up in broadcasting back in the late 80s. And then from there, I re-stint into the financial director of a big insurance company. I lasted all of 9 months because I kept bumping into too many actuaries. So I hope there's not too many actuaries in the room, but Alexander Forbes and myself didn't last much longer than 9 months. And then we put together a consortium and we attempted to buy some of the stations from the SABC that would be privatized. And we were fortunate we got KFM down here in Cape Town, and that was back in 96. So I spent 4 years with KFM. We took it out of the SABC, we tripled the audience, we tripled the revenues, and we sold it on to New African Media, and ultimately it was sold to Prime Media. So what you're listening to today, KFM Radio 94.5, is one of 4 radio stations run by Prime Media. The other 3 are K12, 782 to 94.7 in Gauteng. And for my sins, I was restrained from radio. So what did I do? I got together with, I kept getting approached by other entrepreneurs, friends and family. Everybody wanted to know what they should do. I had no clue myself. I was very naive. I was very lucky. And I got a bunch of 4 youngsters come and approach me, and that was the time was Clickatel. You guys heard of Clickatel, SMS aggregator? They currently, at that stage, it was 2001, there were 4 guys with an idea. How can we make SMS a bulk marketing tool? And they wrote some clever software. Today, they're about the second or third biggest SMS aggregator in the world. They're based in San Francisco. They've raised about $20 million from Sequoia Capital in various rounds of financing. And they have customers like Visa, Barclaycard. They even do the American Home Security SMS communication. So they've done very well. But along the way, I met a few other interesting people. And we formed Cape Venture Partners back in 2004. And the reason we did that is we saw a lot of guys like yourselves who had great ideas, but getting access to capital markets was a problem. And we were naive too, because we thought there must be some sort of intermediary relationship that we can put together. Going to the banks was just not a solution. So when we talk financing, I'll talk about that. Go to the private equity firms, they don't do startups. The venture capital firms in those days were non-existent. It's improved, but it's still a long way to go in this country. And we felt we could plug that gap between having your own money, using your own and your family's and other people's money, and getting into that serious capital market was something really helpful. We ended up doing a lot of advisory work for very little money. But along the way, we developed a sense of the type of model, and we started taking risk equity, and we took a few, I'll just actually put up the next slide.